And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. For those tuning in on the Amazon platform, we're glad you all could be with us. Make sure you guys do hit that follow button like my guest Lissha just did. You all can see it either here in this corner or down below. Also, you will see the magazine that is just one of the things that our next guest is doing. Lissha Sadler is making her first appearance here on Amazon Live. For one, as we're celebrating our 500th episode here on Amazon, but also to talk about her big 2023. She has the magazine you guys see there, Hardcore Grind Magazine. You all can go ahead and get the first 2 issues, and she has more to come. We were just talking, she's getting ready for the next issue as well. We'll talk to her about her company, Intriguing Moves, what it's been like for her to be a mover and shaker, especially in the literary world, and let you guys know how to stay connected with her. I also want to welcome those tuning in on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. If you guys have any questions or comments for Lissha, make sure you guys drop those in the comment section. But Lissha, glad to have you on Cyrus Webb Presents.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here again.
Yeah. Look, it is definitely our pleasure. So, Lissha, I should let our audience know, Lissha and I have only met in person one time, but we have been friends for years. And Lissha, I'm going to take you back because that's one of the great things about doing a show like this. Of course, we have archives back in June of 2019. Lissha and I did an interview together. You can see us there. We were in Atlanta, Georgia. We had done an interview for Cyrus Webb Presents back in 2019, and now she is doing so many amazing things. Lissha, let me start off by saying how proud I am of you and all the great things you're doing. As I mentioned, you're the editor-in-chief of Hardcore Grind Magazine that's here on Amazon. You're doing so many great things when it comes to working with authors and others. I want to talk about this reflection for you, Lissha. What has it been like for you to do what you love and to see the success that's come your way?
Absolutely. It's not often that people get to do what they enjoy. A lot of times you don't get to do what your passion is. And I love it. I love that I still work, but I'm able to help people. I'm a giver. I love to give. I love to experience the passion of an author or a artist. And being able to do that is like the greatest gift.
Yeah. You and I first connected, and most of our audience probably know you, Lissha, as the co-host of Let's Chat. You also, of course, have your own podcast as well. So, being in front of the public is not necessarily new for you, but you've taken on a lot of new roles. As I mentioned, you're expanding with Intriguing Moves, the work you're doing there with your consulting there. You, of course, have the magazine that you've been able to publish. What has that been like for you to show people that you are more than just a talk show host, that you really are a brand?
Absolutely. And Visions and Books, which is my book event. I'm getting ready to do the next one in 2025. Intriguing Moves started off as Writing Royalty Promotions. And that's when I started it back in 2012. And in 2018, I moved to Georgia. I was doing so many different things. And we were doing Let's Chat. And on the show, I would always talk about taking bold steps in the dark. Sometimes you're just stepping. You don't see it. You don't know where the next one is, but you just know you're supposed to step there. And that's why I actually named it Intriguing Moves.
Yeah. And the magazine, talk to us about that, because as I mentioned, Hardcore Grind Magazine is here on Amazon. So our audience, if you guys are on the Amazon side, you guys can go ahead and click through, be able to get the first 2 issues that's available now. As I mentioned, Lissha and I were just talking, there's a third one that is coming soon. You guys will be able to get as well. What was the idea behind the magazine, Lissha?
So the magazine just happened. So I do a lot of interviews. I interview a lot of people, and I had clients that I actually was putting articles in other magazines. So I have a column in Heat Seekers magazine, and at that time I had a column in the Indie Post. But as any type of publishing, you always have a cycle. So I always had clients that were waiting. So I was doing podcast interviews, and I was like, really, it was just to record the interview, and I never put it out. And I was like, oh, this is some good content, because I would be talking to everybody. I was like, this is some good content. So I started doing the podcast. But the magazine came about because I was like, well, I can do my own magazine. I could do my own write-up and be able to do what I love. So everything I do is always all shades of me. So Hardcore Grind Magazine is where entertainment meets Reader's Digest. So there's always going to be a short story in the book, in the magazine. There are interviews from artists to entertainers, authors, political figures, excuse me, CEOs. So whoever I'm interviewing, I set them up. And now I'm trying to learn how to have a magazine flow. And so I kind of mix it up. So I don't do all authors. I'll put this current magazine, we did a letter to hip hop. Excuse me. And that was for the 50th anniversary. I also have on the Black side, which talks about things in our community, whether it's mental health or taking care of a elderly person or someone in you're being a caregiver just in general. So those things are important because they're important to our community. And then making sure again that we're having ads for businesses. So I have all of that in the magazine, allowing everybody to be able to promote themselves, becomes one that's part of me. Yeah. I love to promote and share other people's brands. So I want authors to be able to promote their pens. I think that is very important. I always say books is kind of like going into Baskin and Robbins. You never know what you like until you get the little pink spoon. Then when you get the pink spoon, it's like, what's this one taste like? What does this one taste like? And so I want people to be able to experience authors' pens, because you don't know if you like it or not until you're able to experience it. And that's what I want Hardcore Grind Magazine to really bring, an experience.
You said a few things I want to go back to, Lissha, because I think they're so important. And that's why I think our friendship has been so special for me. Because when you first told me about the magazine, I was so excited, and it made perfect sense to me for you to have a magazine. I think what people sometimes forget is that just because you're doing one thing doesn't mean you only can do one thing. And I love the fact that you were able to say that, hey, I'm doing this show. I can kind of double up and not only have, something for people to listen to, I have something people can read. What was it like for you to trust yourself so that you can do it, Lissha? Because we both know a lot of talented people. And I meet people all the time that have so much talent, but they're waiting for someone else to validate them, right? They're waiting for someone else to give them an opportunity. What was it like for you to believe in yourself enough to say, you know what? I don't have to wait on someone else. I can do this myself.
Actually, I've always been like that. I really feel like if you don't invest in yourself, you can't expect nobody else to. And it comes with it's a curse as well as a great asset to have. Because I know that anything I want to do, I can do. I may not be able to do it right now because I have to probably research and probably teach myself. When I was teaching myself how to format books, that was a process. I had to go through that process. So when it came down to creating the magazine, I knew I could do it. It was just understanding the process and making sure that whatever it is effective.
Love that. Manswell, hello to you on Facebook. Manswell says hello to you as well. He's also a fellow storyteller as well. Lissha, and so Lissha, let's talk about then another aspect of what you talked about. So you started the magazine because that was a way for you to be able to share the messages you were be able to do on the podcast. But you also mentioned that you love, of course, to be able to give people a platform to help promote them. One of the ways
Mhm.
you've been able to do that is social media. How has social media helped you? Because I tell people I would not be able to reach the audience I do now if it was not for embracing social media. And there is a difference in being on social media and actually using social media. So, when did you realize the importance of actually using social media to build your brand?
Well, I've always known that social media is a tool. Some
Mhm.
people use it and they may not understand how to use it. But anything you do on social media is a tool, it's an asset to expanding your brand and pushing your brand beyond where you can do it by yourself. And
Mhm.
now your brand doesn't gain feet. You got to use your own feet. But sometimes you want to be able to reach different people. Social media has allowed me to do that. It's allowed me to connect with actors and actresses that average person may not ever be able to connect with. I was able to um, meet authors, readers, book clubs. Back in the day, the publishing companies had a connection to the book clubs. And I was finding that I was meeting a lot of authors and readers on social media that was like they didn't know how to connect with authors, and
Mhm.
authors didn't know how to connect with readers, even though everybody was on social media. So I kind of used that as a way to say, okay, let me connect you. What's your genre that you write, or what do you like to read? And then I'll such and such, this is such and such, and I would introduce them on social media so that they can connect. And that helps the author and it helps the reader. In promotions, it's kind of like um, a taxi cab service.
Mhm.
You're bringing people to party author, you're dropping them off. And so social media is that vessel that allows me to connect people and connect with people um, in my journey.
Yeah, such an important thing. Mansell says, yes, work it. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, welcome. You all are watching Cyrus Webb Presents. It's a big day for us. We're celebrating our 500th episode here on Amazon Live. So, to the Amazon community, so glad to have been with you guys now as we're celebrating actually officially 2 years on the platform, but our 500th episode is today. And we're with my friend, Lissha Sadler. She is the founder of Intriguing Moves. She's also the publisher of the magazine you guys see on the Amazon side called Hardcore Grind Magazine. You all can get the first 2 episodes now. Of course, it's a print magazine. She has more to come, but a lot of other things she's involved in. She has a podcast, as well as, of course, working with authors, being able to connect them, as you just heard there, with readers too. So, Lissha, what about yourself? We all hear that we all have a story inside of us. What about your own outlet of writing? Is that something that is hard for you to find time for?
It is, well, in a way. So I actually have 4 books that are started. But in 2021, I went through a divorce. And
Mhm.
so that's how I got involved in the anthology, The Breaking Point,
Mhm.
with Miss Paulette Harper. And I remember God telling me, don't be petty. And so, when you're writing, you're able to kill people out. I mean, you just are able just to go to town because it's
Mhm.
fictional. You're able just to do
Mhm.
whatever. And
Yeah.
so, in that moment, it was like, don't be petty. And so that's how I actually started actually completing something, because in writing it's easy to start and not finish.
Yeah.
The easiest thing to do is start a book and then you don't finish it.
Mhm.
And so when I entered into this anthology, it was a way for me to do a little bit of fiction and nonfiction at the same time, because it's an anthology. You're talking about that point in your life, and I
Correct.
was able to take those thoughts and put them into something effective, as well as still write, because that's how I started writing the switch up. So the switch up is actually a series. So I have my journal, which is on Amazon. That was my chapter in the breaking point. And then the first release of 2024, 2025 will be the switch up as well. But that's my theme. I think the switch up is when God takes his divine hand and he says, you're going in the wrong direction. And I got to shake some stuff up and shake some stuff off to be able to get you where I need you to be. Because right now you're settling somewhere and that's not where I need you at. I need you over here. I need you doing this and I need you doing that. And so he puts you in position. And sometimes there's a switch up that happens in life, whatever it is, whether you go to a new job, a new school, you meet a new person. Life is always forever changing. And we have to be able to change with it so that we can go through our journeys. Now, are those journeys comfortable sometimes? No. But in that uncomfortability of that journey, that's where your growth comes from. That's where you learn about yourself. You settle on what you want to do and how you want to do it within that moment. And so that's what really kind of started me making sure that, okay, I want the magazine to be this. Okay, now books. What do I want my books to focus on? I need them to have a direction. I need them to have a purpose because I'm purpose driven. I feel that everybody has a direction and a purpose. And sometimes you have to sit and be still in order to learn what yours is.
Yeah. Now, and sitting and being still is not easy. So I want to ask you about that then, Alicia, because for a lot of people, we want things now. And even though we know everything's a process, doesn't stop us from wanting what we want. Talk to us about the lesson of learning that delay is not a denial. Because like you said, some things it's not that it's a no, it's just a not right now because there's other things to do, right? So what has that done for you to realize that a delay, that not doing something right now does not mean it can't be done?
Well, it does a few things, right? Because a delay could really mean it's not something you really want to do or not something you should be doing. Sometimes we don't ask ourselves why. And I think that once you start asking yourself why you're doing something, when it's delayed, you don't have that rush feeling because you know that this is what I should be doing. Maybe not right now because there's something I have to learn. There's somebody I have to meet. Something is happening that is the reason why it's not moving the way I want it to move. It's funny because people are always saying, well, I pray and God didn't answer my prayer. He answers in the way that he feels that it should be answered. And we're looking for him to answer in the way that we want. And when we don't hear it that way, it's like, well, he wasn't listening to me. And it's like, well, he was. You just aren't ready for what you're asking for. So just because it's delayed does not mean that it's not meant for you to do. But in that delay, you learn about yourself. You learn that maybe it's not something I really wanted to do, or I was doing it for the wrong reasons. And so now I'm on to something else. You'll know what something is your passion and your purpose when you're holding on to it. You're like, okay, not right now. What do I have to do? Because there's something that I have to do, something I have to learn, and I'm blocking and stopping whatever it is. I need to know how to get it together, which means you have to get yourself together in the process.
Love that. Love that. That self-talk is so important for sure. So, Lissha, we are getting ready to wrap up the year that's been 2023. You've had a lot of great things that have been going on. What are you looking forward to for 2024?
Sheesh, I just feel like 2023 was like the drive-through. we got in, we did an order, and then now it's like, okay, bye, here's your stuff, get out. It just went by so fast that I didn't have time to do a lot of stuff. And that's really what I learned. Sometimes you don't have that time you think you have. And so we can't procrastinate. Well, now we've all learned that procrastination is a defense that's used to protect ourselves. It's a defensive mechanism to protect yourself. It's either your subconscious telling you that it's something you really don't want to do, or something you're afraid of. And so I think in 2023, it moved so fast. I learned how to be in the moment. But I also learned that my biggest issue is me. My biggest stopper is me. And I had to learn how not to stop myself from doing the things that I'm supposed to do. Not necessarily what I want to do, but what I'm supposed to be doing. And being able to sit in myself and really, really think and understand why I'm doing something or why I want to do something. And being able to be okay with something not moving as fast as I want it to go. Because when something moves, I learned that it moves. It
Yeah.
moves so fast that you're like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Because when it's meant for you to do, the process moves so fast that it's like boom, boom, boom. It's a constant harmonious flow where stuff just starts falling in your lap left and right. It slows down when you're in that struggle, whether with yourself or with your desires. So I've
Right.
learned how to just sit and be in peace in that sitting process. Be in peace in the switch up process. Be in peace in a reset process. Because even though things are not perfect, they're not going the way you want, that doesn't mean you are not happy.
Yeah. Such a great thing. Such a great lesson for sure. Again, everyone, Lissha Sadler has been our guest. She's the founder of Intriguing Moves, also the editor in chief of Hardcore Grind magazine here on Amazon, talking with us about the year that's been 2023, what it's been like for her to build her own platform, but also support others along the way. Lissha, another great conversation with you. How can our viewers stay connected with you?
Absolutely. I believe in consistent branding. So I'm Lissha on all social media sites, except for Twitter. I have the extra S, so it's LISSSHA. It's either Lissha Sadler, Hardcore Grind, Let's Chat Radio, Visions and Books.
All right. Congratulations to you again, Lissha. It's great to be able to see you. Excited about being able to work with you during the month of December and looking forward to our next chat together.
And congratulations on your 500th episode.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Lissha. And we thank you, our audience, for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Represents. Again, on the Amazon side, if you have not done so already, make sure you guys hit that follow button. You see it either here in this corner or down below. Also, get your copy of Hardcore Grind magazine right here on Amazon. Stay connected with Lissha and all the great things that she's doing. Until next time, I'm Cyrus Webb saying thank you so much for being with us. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.